this past Sunday on the 2500 block of North 21st Street. Please note that our detectives have been working tirelessly since these terrible events unfolded. We have been relentless following up on all leads. At this time, we can report that we have 4 persons of interest in custody. These persons of interest are all adults. We're still trying to determine what their involvement was, if any, with this homicide. No charges have been referred to the DA's office at this time. Based on evidence at the scene and with our ongoing investigation, we believe that there are multiple suspects involved in this incident. The time this incident occurred is still undetermined. On Monday, we became aware of a 911 call that was considered to be related to the investigation, but was not attributed to the address where the incident occurred. This 911 caller claimed that she was the victim of a shooting and that multiple other people were shot. The caller gave 2 different addresses in the vicinity of where the homicides occurred, but neither one of them were on the 2500 block of North 25th Street. The call was received approximately 12 hours prior to the discovery of the victims. Officers were dispatched to both locations. However, they did not locate any evidence of the shooting and were unable to make contact with the caller. Eventually, we were able to locate the person who made the call, and we were able to determine she was not a victim of the shooting. Her connection to this incident still remains under investigation. At this time, we continue to ask for assistance from our community for information. Please call the Milwaukee Police Department at 414-935-7360 to remain anonymous if you like, or contact Crime Stoppers at 414-224-TIPS. Before I hand this off to the mayor, I want to send my sincere condolences to the victims' families, friends, neighbors that are impacted by this horrific mass shooting. Our community deserves better, and this senseless violence needs to stop. The entire Milwaukee Police Department remains committed to working with our partners, but most importantly, we're committed to working with you, the community. Mr. Mayor.
First, I would like to thank Chief Norman and all the members of the Milwaukee Police Department who have been working tirelessly around the clock to address this issue. We really appreciate the work that you guys do to keep our community safe. You know, all of us here, myself, the Chief, Alderman Stamper, who you'll hear from in just a moment, we're all working to make Milwaukee a safer city. Accountability for those who commit crimes and justice for crime victims are a part of making our community safer. We can't be afraid to say that. There needs to be accountability for folks who cause damage, harm, and death to members of our community. I want to drive home a very important point today, and that's that everybody, every single one of us, every person in the city of Milwaukee is responsible and has a part in public safety. In this case, I'm certain that there's somebody out there, somebody who knows something, who's seen something, who can say something to help us in this issue where there was a mass shooting and 6 people in our city were left dead. It's time for that person to step forward, to come up, to say something. As the Chief mentioned, the police are doing everything they can to solve this crime, and I have faith that we'll bring the person or the people who committed this heinous act to justice. You know, as I said several weeks ago, at the start of the year, when a young woman unfortunately was killed at work, we can't have a city where somebody can go and pull the trigger and kill somebody and then go sit on somebody's couch. We can't have that. When folks see something, you have to step up. You have to say something. And even if you don't come forward directly to the police department, as Chief Norman mentioned, there are opportunities for folks to say things anonymously, to reveal information anonymously. The Milwaukee Police Department has an anonymous tip line. Use it. Crime Stoppers has an anonymous tip line. Use it. If something happened to somebody that we care about, and our own family, we'd expect the same thing. If we really want healing and justice in our community, then we need to hold the folks who commit violent acts in our community accountable. That's very important. But in order to get to that accountability, many times, we need people who have information to step up and say something. So that's what my plea is here today. That's what plea always is and always will be when somebody is hurt or killed in the city of Milwaukee. If you know something, say something. And this incident occurred, as Chief Norman mentioned, and as everybody is well aware, on the 2500 block of North 21st Street. It's a block that I lived on for a time as a child in Milwaukee, and it's a block that is in the 15th Aldermanic District, represented by Alderman Russell Stamper. And so at this time, I'm going to ask Alderman Stamper to come to the mic. Alderman.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you to the police department, Chief Norman. Thank you to Mayor Johnson. And thank you to the Office of Violence Prevention. And thank you to the many community members who are working over there in that neighborhood and walking around trying to get information. I am Alderman Russell Stamper II and represent the 15th Automatic District. And I'm very, very proud of the district and my community. And I'm here to say that this mass shooting is not representative of the district and is not representative of this city. So what we have to do in order for us to truly, truly be a safe city is work together to inform all negative behavior and negative activity before something like this occurs. And after it occurs, if it does, you have to inform the proper authorities. If you are concerned about informing the police department, call Crime Stoppers. If you are concerned about informing Crime Stoppers, call the Office of Violence Prevention. If you are concerned about informing the Office of Violence Prevention, contact Alderman Stamper at 414-708-0525. I love that neighborhood. I grew up over there as well. And those residents are concerned, but they also know that this is not representative of their area. Thank you very much, and please help us solve this crime, and please help us solve any crime and strive towards safety in this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Alderman Stamper, for providing those words. Are there any questions?
Start over here, and then we'll work our way around.
Okay. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
Let's just go back to the caller, the 911 caller. Is that one of the people in custody, one of the persons of interest you're looking at?
At this time, it's still an investigation. I know that we are still developing some leads, so we're part of the persons of interest at this time, but it's an ongoing investigation, so I don't want to answer that specifically.
You can't say if they're one of the four.
It's still an ongoing investigation.
Go ahead.
I hate to backtrack, but I kind of want to get just a recap of that timeline that you explained, just the time from when the call was received and then the shooting, and you kind of explained it at the beginning.
So the incident happened over the weekend, and as we know, there's investigators who are working on what led up, and during the research, there was revealed in regards to this 911 call. And as we are looking at in regards to what happened with that 911 call, upon finding that, found that there was addresses given out that was not connected to the particular location of the incident. There was also concerns in regards to who was the particular caller. Upon doing a little more investigation in regards to figuring out, when that call was placed, and looking at the location, we were able to reveal who was the caller, and also that it was not one of the victims of this horrific event. So this is still an ongoing investigation. As I stated earlier, Milwaukee Police Department takes all our serious situations or incidents that take place in the city seriously. The detectives, in spite of many different things being pulled for our investigators, we're working on this every day, every shift. So we are still unfolding some other aspects of this particular investigation, but we are very confident that we're getting closer to having, some great leads to will pan out in regards to who's responsible and who's all responsible in this incident.
you know, we're moving into, you know, February, and we've had a long January already. I know you guys are working to solve this crime, of course, but, you know, let this be known, you're not, you know, taking away from other homicides that you're working on. What is that looking like for you now that you're taking on a massive crime scene and also dealing with other homicides as well?
To remain committed, to ensure that we are giving the due diligence to all incidents taking place in our city. Understand that we assisted in the, Milwaukee County Sheriff's situation yesterday. Those are part of the investigative team. So we have to understand that we have to, it is a juggling act of sorts, but we are giving the same attention and same tireless work and working with our partners. Obviously, there's more to it than just investigating the crime. We're dealing with trauma in these communities. We're working with, as the Alderman talked about, Mayor talked about, with the Office of Violence Prevention, working with many different partnerships to ensure that we are taking care of not only the incident and resolving that, but also trauma and the healing that needs to take place within that community of dealing with something like this, a mass shooting of this nature.
Chief, initially, we were told that there was no threat to the public, given the fact that you said that there might be multiple suspects. Do you stand by that claim?
I still stand by that because this was still more of and what we understand to be targeted. This is not something where we are saying this is a random act. This is something in regards to, again, many different dynamics that contribute to this incident that we're familiar with in regards to what we're being revealed during this investigation. So I will still stand by that we don't have that fear, but we do have other individuals who we have to determine their level of involvement, that we're asking the public to assist us not only in bringing that information forth, but also bringing individuals who are connected to this so that we can get a clear understanding of what took place.
Chief, can you confirm that this was not a murder-suicide, and can you say anything about a possible motive at this point?
We are still working on the motive. This is still an ongoing investigation. I never want to say anything with certainty, but what is being revealed, it does not look like it is a murder-suicide, but we are still dealing with an active investigation. We are still looking for other individuals to basically shed more light into this investigation. But again, just as I dealt with the earlier conversation, this is more likely a target situation where we are confident that we are on the right track in finding those who are responsible for this.
We'll take two more questions. Go ahead.
Speaking of being targeted, we have court documents that show 3 of the victims were on a witness list for a previous homicide in 2020. Is that why they were targeted?
We are still looking into all angles. Obviously, you never want to use one explanation to a particular incident and stick to that. Understanding that there might be some other angles that we have to explore. But at this time, we're pretty sure that that is not relative to this particular incident, but we never want to take away any particular explanation for what we're, finding in this investigation.
One more.
Do you have any idea how many guns were used?
Still looking to that. I know that there's multiple, but as to the actual number, that's still being looked at in regards to the investigation. Thank you all. I appreciate it. And if any other follow-up information, please work through our PIO office for that.
You've been watching a news conference with Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman and Acting Mayor Cavalier Johnson on the shootings that left 6 people dead inside a Milwaukee home. Chief Norman says 4 adults are in custody right now. No charges have been filed just yet. And based on evidence, he also says that it does not look like a murder-suicide situation. So let's go ahead and recap here. Police say 5 men, 1 woman were found killed execution style in a home near 21st and Wright on Sunday night. The victims have been identified as Caleb Jordan, Giovanni Liddell, Charles Hardy, Donald Smith, Donta Williams, and Michelle Williams. Their ages range from 23 to 49. Again, police suspect that more than 1 gunman was involved in the shootings. And really the big plea here is for the community to speak up and say something if they know something.